Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Author Collaborative. As always, I'll be talking to an author whose book I have recently read and enjoyed. And my guest for this week is somebody who's coming on the show for the first time. And her book was referred to me by my dear friend Siddhant Agarwal. And as soon as I read the title of the book, I didn't even look at the blurb. From the title itself, I knew what the genre is, which was crime thriller, and I immediately knew I had to read the book. And then I reached out to the author. She said yes for coming on the show, and I'm very excited to have her here today. Her name is Prerna Wadhawan, and we are going to talk about this book by her, Psychopath, and she should be here in a minute. It's going to be a very interesting episode. Do stay connected. Hi Tanvi. Hi Shifali. I'm just waiting for Prerna so we can start the episode. Okay, Prerna is not here. Let's wait a few more seconds. We should be able to start the episode in a while. Please stay connected. Prerna is not here yet, so we should be able to start when she is here. Hey, hi Prerna. Prerna is here. Hi Prerna. Welcome to the show. Can you hear me? Is there a static?
I think there's a little bit of a lag suddenly, but yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yes, I can also hear you. There's much more clarity. Okay, welcome to the show, first of all. Before we start, can you briefly introduce yourself to the audience, please?
I'm Prerna. I have written a book called The Psychopath, recently released. It's published in the film and television industry. So I have produced a TV show. I have made a feature film. I have also, in my late teens and early 20s, written a kid's book, which I don't know if it's available anymore because it was a while ago. But yeah, I've always been fascinated with stories and storytelling, and I haven't worked for the past decade simply because there was personal reasons, and then there was also I got pregnant. I had new babies, two of them. So yeah, it was. It took a while to kind of get back, and of course, then I started writing. I've always been writing. It's just that finally with this book, I pushed myself and as I call it, unpaused my life.
Oh, wow. That's a great way to put it. And congratulations
Yeah.
on the kids. And I think I'm going to come back to that topic again once we discuss the book, because I think your kids have played a huge role in framing the story and the characters and the plot around this book. We'll come to that. But before that, I'm
Right.
just quickly going to show everyone the book cover again. You have the paperback, right? Can you show it to the audience one more time? So this is the book that we are discussing today, Psychopath.
Yeah.
And the thing that struck me the most was, I think I've told you in the DM also that, I had to pause at many instances while the reading of the book, because I just had to stop myself and absorb the seriousness of what I was reading, because it is very intense. I mean, you have to pace yourself while reading the book, because some of the scenes are just too violent, and you have to let it soak in before you are realizing that, oh my god, such people also do exist, and the level of violence that they can uh, just do on another living being is unfathomable for me. So I had to pause at
Yeah.
many instances for that. And then there is one more thing that struck me, was that the characters are so hateable. I mean, they are all despicable. There's not one character that I could root for from the start to the end, because they are all great characters. And I was like, oh my god, are we all like that? Because somewhere or the other, I think we are all responsible for misbehaving with someone throughout our life. I mean, I'm sure there have been instances where we have spoken badly to someone, and we don't know how it affected that person. And that is also a question that is lingering in your head throughout the reading of the book, because the person, the psychopath that we are talking about here, uh, was he born this way, or did circumstances made him such a way? because people misbehaved with him. He was a victim of, abuse, or maybe a lot of other things that we never realize when we are doing it to somebody. We tease them and we move on with our lives. But probably that triggered them to, go over the edge and become something that is very difficult to come back from. So that's the
Yes.
kind of introspection that the book puts you in. And somehow, despite being so disturbing, the book manages to be gripping from the end to the start. And you can't put it down. I mean, once you have started, you are like, no, I have to know what happened, what pushed this person to such a limit. So, yeah, very well done. And I think everyone
Thank
should
you.
read it, especially the people who love to read this genre. So Kana is here. So I'm going to definitely say she's one of the people who is, like me, co-lover of this genre, if I can say so. I think we can also vouch that this is a book that all thriller lovers would love. So do definitely go check out the book.
Thank
And on that note, I'm going to read out a few passages from the book so that you guys also know what we are, raving about. I'm raving about. I mean, obviously, Prerna is just listening to me gushing over the book, but I'm going to read out. And this is the part where we are not introduced to the psychopath, but this is the part where we get a glimpse into what he looks like, what his physical appearance is like. We still don't know their identity because he hides behind the mask of Robin Hood, the name of Robin Hood. We don't know who that person is, and that is also something that I really like. Like, for more than halfway through the book, we don't know who this person is. We are really confused because we are going back and forth in time, and you're like, okay, is it this person? Is it this person? Is it that person? And then ultimately it is revealed, and you're like, okay, I kind of knew that was the person we tipped to the extreme, and it was unavoidable. So yeah, this is from chapter 4, and we are looking at it from the point of view of the female character, Nia. And this, I'm going to skip the first few paragraphs and go straight to the point where she comes across the person she's trying to defend, and controversially defend, maybe. So she's coming across that person for the first time. He reached the courthouse steps where the banners clashed in the breeze and voices crashed over each other. Smog blurred the building. Sweat, exhaust, and incense from someone's offering at the gate mixed together. Someone's elbow caught her shoulder. She angled her torso away, elbows tight. Men moved through crowds without making themselves smaller. Robin Hood. He had named himself after a hero who stole from the rich. The irony was grotesque. He didn't redistribute wealth. He redistributed trauma, took from women and gave their violated bodies to angry men as proof that someone, anyone, could be beneath them. Perfect marketing. Tradition reframed as justice. His followers weren't supporting rape, they were fighting the system. He had single handedly split the country in two. She scanned the placards. Robin Hood, we love you. They can't silence truth. Then at the center, a woman in a faded blue sari. Die just like your victims. Victims. You could list them. Sonipat girl who vanished on her way home. Journalist in Faridabad who crossed the wrong politician. Law intern from Ghaziabad no one in her firm wanted to discuss. Then the men, the ones who got the headlines. A corporate executive near Connaught Place, an industrialist in Karol Bagh. Couch frightened her more than individual. A mob had no conscience. They didn't want justice, they wanted blood. Oi! Rumi's white voice cut through. He was out of the van now. Camera bag slung over his shoulder. Don't overstep, Nia. You are only here because I'm doing a favor for a friend, not because I wanted a tag-along amateur. She swallowed the instinct to argue. Excess had its price. I'm not an amateur. No, he adjusted his camera. You're worse. You're someone who thinks he knows better than the people who have been doing this for a decade. Don't make me regret this. She sighed. You want this story to stand out. I know how people like him work. Know how he works? Please. He's an attention hungry social media entrepreneur who got too bold. Aditi cleared her throat. Maybe that's the story. His need for fame. Old news. Rumi fiddled with his tripod. Everyone already thinks they know why. I want something fresh. Nia turned to Aditi. What do you know about his victims? The intern hesitated. Mostly young women and the last few, the rich guys. Not just that. Look at the map. Sonipat, Faridabad, Ghaziabad, then Connaught Place, Karol Bagh. He didn't start here. He worked his way here. There's a path to it. Aditi tilted her head. Like he's closing in on something? Nia's heart thumped. If she was wrong, she'd look like a fool. But if she was right, Rumi paused mid adjustment. You are telling me his murders connect on a map? They connect everywhere, Nia said. That's what makes him dangerous. Before we could answer, the police jeep rolled up. The crowds erupted. Phones shot into the air. Reporters lunged forward. The air shifted before he appeared. She told herself she was calm. Her pulse should be racing. The crowds watched. But hers stayed low, controlled. Only the hairs on her arms gave her away. Her fingers found the strap of her bag and wound it twice around her knuckles without thinking. Then he stepped out. Robin Hood. No hood. No mask. Just a man. I'm going to stop here because after this we know what he looks like and I want that to remain an intrigue.
Right.
And
Thank you for the
yeah,
lovely,
I, my
thank you
my
for the lovely reading. Yeah.
my absolute pleasure, and I hope we were getting a lot of hearts, so I hope I have done justice to the reading that I have done, and I hope people are intrigued enough to go check out the book. And just, I would recommend it 100 on 100 because if you love the genre, not just in books, even if you love the genre in visual entertainment, you are going to enjoy the book. Give this book a try. I mean, this might be the starting point of you becoming a bookworm. So give it a try. Okay, so Prerna, based on my reading of the book and whatever little I know about you, I have framed a few questions for you to answer. Would you be kind enough to answer those?
Of course.
Okay, I'm just quickly going to pull up the questions here. Give
Yeah.
me a second. We have to rely a lot on technology, so excuse us for
Of
that.
course. Yeah.
Okay, so we already know from the reading that I did that this person or the person that hides behind this name, Robin Hood, he has a huge social media following. So my first question is related to that. Robin has a teenage following in the story, which feels disturbingly believable in today's world. What commentary were we trying to make here? Let's start with that.
I think we live in a world where everybody is looking, there's this whole concept of personal brands, social media following, what is your engagement rate. Everybody wants to be online, especially the young people, especially born in this era of social media. So, when Robinhood has this following, it's almost like power, right? I mean, it's like politicians decades ago would win because they have a following. I am without stating that categorically in the book because there's no politics in the book, but it's pretty much the same thing here where if you have the followers who are going to follow you blindly and who believe in you and who engage with you regularly, that's a scary thing because also, in the world that we live in, if there's a competition for getting more followers, for getting more reach, for getting more likes, being more likable, to get validated by the world, your moral compass does get skewed, right? I mean, you will not, after a point, it's like an addiction for the creator. If you are not careful, it's like I would equate it to addiction. So I feel that I was trying to do somewhere around that if you lose that boundary where you realize that this is work or this is my hobby, whatever way you use your social media, then it's a serious issue and a serious concern. And people can and are using it negatively. I mean, all of this that I have written in this book have been news articles or videos actually seen online. They're not made up in that. I mean, I've stitched them together and I've exaggerated a few things, but they're all pretty. That's why people say, "Oh, it's so real." It's because they are from real news items. So I think social media can be great if you use it as a tool it's meant to be used as. But having a following is can be very dangerous if
Yeah.
used wrongly. So I think that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah. Okay, that brings me to the follow-up question. So when you were doing this, did you ever worry about making Robin Hood too charismatic or persuasive while writing him?
No, I didn't worry about that because I think a social media influencer will only work. I mean, look at the people we follow very, passionately. They have authority, they have persona, they are somewhere charismatic in some part of it, even if it's not outwardly, it's the thoughts that they have, whatever it is. We follow for a reason. So, Robin Hood had to be charismatic for such a devoted viewership. Otherwise, people will not be as devoted to him. So there was no doubt in my mind that he has to be that charismatic, that authoritative, that certain about how he's going to be. So, in fact, I think I leaned into it because I thought the play between Nia and Robin Hood would come out much better if he's that charismatic.
Yeah. Actually, yes. And it is also much later that Nia realizes that she's the one being played, which is also such a power play.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And while you were doing this, I also had one more follow-up question. Since you have written such in depth about the negative effects of social media on one's personal mental health, so how much do you think social media and online validation have altered our psychology of violence and power today?
So first of all, I'd just like to put this disclaimer that I'm getting in touch with you and I'm having this conversation because of Instagram. So social media is not all bad. Even in the book, there's a character who's a supporting character, but she's a mom blogger. She's trying to find her way in. And I purposely made her a mom blogger because I was like, I need someone to at least mention this fact that it's not all negative. I mean, I was focusing on the negative aspect of it, but it's not all negative. So, social media is not all bad, first of
Hmm.
all. If used well, it can be completely freeing, right? People can make a living, can have a great life. But if used wrongly, like I mentioned, it is like an addiction. And if your moral compass gets skewed,
Hmm.
you can really incite violence, and we do see that on the news without going into all the specifics of that, but we do see it, right, where there's a conversation on religion, suddenly it just goes in every which direction where it doesn't need to. It's a very simple thing. Someone talks about, the other day I was seeing an interview, again I'm not going to go into specifics, but she talked about postpartum and wanting her daughter to be completely free, and there was a whole divide on about that. Why? So people can really use and misuse information and incite violence. It's really up to us to make sure that we have our boundaries and we have our thought set, because and also our impressionable young contained. I think that's very important, and which is where the book is. If someone is not contained, if someone is completely free reigned and like just goes out there, what would happen? And that's what the book is. Yeah.
Thank you for answering those. Now, which brings me to my second question, which and the fascinating character of Nia, who's trying to understand the psychology of this person, this criminal. Of course, there's no other word to define this
He's a
person.
serial killer criminal,
Yeah.
yes.
So she's trying to understand the psychology of how his mind works, and she's trying to defend it from a point of view that whatever he's doing, it is because of his genetic mutation. He cannot control it. She's trying to come from that point of view, and
Yes.
that's what makes her a great character in itself. But then
Yes.
there is also a backstory to her, and
Right.
why she's doing the research that she's doing.
Correct.
And my question is based around her. So Nia enters the story believing that she's studying Robin, but the power dynamic gradually shifts.
Yes.
What fascinated you about that reversal? And take us to the kind of research you had to do for her character.
Okay. Um, so I really enjoyed writing their dynamic because it was like a chess match,
Yeah.
right? It's like both of them are trying to make power moves, and who's going to make the power move today, or even today within the interview, who's going to, between the chess match and where the question and the answer, and who sits back and who's more relaxed and who's a little sharper. Like, I think it was a lot of fun. It was also very stressful to edit because I had to ensure that it's still maintaining that. But I really enjoyed writing that. Also, Nia walks into the interview room as someone who's not at par with Robin Hood, right? Robin Hood already knows that she's doing this research and he's using her. She knows that she's being used, and she has to figure a way to see how she can get it out of him. She can get him to work towards her theory versus her working to him. And I think that play was really fascinating. Like, I enjoyed that. It was really like a character study where I had to become Nia and I had to become Robin Hood and, just do that. So it was a lot of fun.
And what kind of research involved taming the character of Nia and making her as authentic as possible?
So, Nia, actually, I did research on psychopaths. I did on, a lot of books on psychology, which are easy to read, not very academic, but easy to read psychology books. Lots of books. There are so many books on psychopaths and the theory around how their brain functions. Because the thing is, psychopaths all look like us, eat like us, act like us. They may be our friends. All of that, which is a theory, which is a prevalent theory. But they don't think like us. They think differently.
Yeah.
And that was there through the few books that I read, and which is what I've actually tried to get out through dialogue. I don't know if I've been successful, but yeah, I've tried to get it out through dialogue and all of that. But lots of books on and articles on psychopaths.
Okay, so follow-up question just popped up in my head. Two actually. One is, were these books all non-fiction, or did you also read fiction for your research?
So I stopped reading fiction while I was writing my thriller because I didn't want to get influenced with the writing style or with the scenes. So I completely stopped reading thriller. I know it's counterintuitive, like you think someone reads thrillers more while writing a thriller, but I just stopped because being a first time thriller writer, I did not want to imitate another writer, and it is very easy to do that. So I actually stopped reading thrillers. So there were no fiction books for thrillers. In fact, I don't think I've read a thriller in 3 or 4 years, simply because I was like, I can't read it while I'm writing and editing it. Once it's done, then and now I'm looking for good thrillers. So it was all non-fiction. It was all, and obviously I've seen a lot of shows. There are lots of fiction shows on Netflix and Amazon. So I've seen those.
Yeah. Second follow-up question which popped up in my head. There is another interesting female character in this dynamic, which I think I personally believe she should have got more footage in the book, but we couldn't, of course, because restraints. But there is another person who is from the judicial side of this, and she has taken up this person's case and she is defending him in the court.
Lata, yes.
Yes, Lata. Take us through the journey of that character now. What was the kind of research and how did you get into her mindset? I mean, I often wonder how these kind of people sleep at night. I mean, psychopaths are completely different, of course. They are justifying it in their own head in a way that they are, just providing justice to the system and society. But what about characters like Lata, who are defending people who are clearly doing wrong?
So at first, interestingly, when my first draft of the novel, she was a man. I had written her as a man, and while I was rereading it for my second, I mean, I've done many edits, but during my second read, I was like, it'd be interesting if it was a thought that popped up because, in the movie Alien, it was written with a man in mind, and then they ended up shooting it with a woman, and the movie completely changed. So I was like, obviously, she's not the central character in the story. But the thought just popped up that what if she's a woman defending a man like him? How would that be perceived? And somewhere, because there's so much crime against women, there's so much male-based pushiness in the book. There was a little bit of defiance in me because I'm quite a feminist. And for me, I wanted to create a woman, however small her character, which is also someone who has agency. We can't judge a person for choosing this or that. The fact is that she's able to choose that, whatever it is. Is it for money? Is it for fame? Is it because it's exciting? It could be any of those reasons. But she has the agency, and she's the only one who has complete agency. Everybody else is unclear about their thoughts, is has gray shades. She is also not a very positive, upbeat character, but she knows that this is my job, this is what I'm doing, and I've chosen this. And I think I wanted to put that because everybody's agencies, especially in the book, the other characters that are there, in the Tejas and Shubh time, whatever's happening as a girls, it was very uncomfortable for me when I was reading. So I was like, I need someone to. She doesn't really balance it out, but she does have. We just have one more person who talks about the fact that she's a woman and she has agency. I think that was very the reason.
There's also a particular scene between Lata and Nia, which I found very interesting because Nia was also coming from a place where she's trying to understand that, okay, I am in this because I'm doing research. Why are you in this? And that scene I absolutely loved because Lata justified herself so well. And I think that comes
Thank
from
you.
having your own agency and having that clarity of thought that somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
How was that scene to write? I mean, it must have been extremely satisfying. And take us through the dialogue that went in your head while writing that particular scene.
I think that scene came alive. Like I said, it was the second draft when I got Lata as a woman. And then I wanted to insert more scenes. And this was a scene that it just popped up in my head during the edit. And I remember, like, on my notes on the phone, I was somewhere and I was like, okay, let me just write down like 5 lines. And I recorded it and it was writing the thing while I was out. And so that scene evolved over days because I was like, I want this scene. How do I make this happen? Because Nia should want to confront her because she's going through this thing because she wants to, but also she's being forced to. At some level, there are two things at play here. So how would these two characters come together and actually have a conversation? Because they're coming from very different perspectives,
Yes.
and they're very different characters. Like Nia has a lot of insecurities, she may have a scientific brain, but she has a lot of insecurities. Whereas Lata is very sure of herself. She's like, I'm working in a man's world, but I'm no less.
Yeah.
I can defeat any man. So she has that confidence about her. And when these two women meet, it's very interesting. So it took me a while to write that scene. It didn't happen in 1 day or 2 days.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was
and
sure when I was reading the scene, I was like, I have to know what went behind your head while framing these, lines and the dialogue that is happening. Also, the mindset. I mean, they are coming from a very different, not only just a professional background, but they are in this situation because of completely different reasons.
yes, yes, yeah,
So yeah, absolutely satisfying that scene. I think that was one of the scenes that I enjoyed reading the most because you are, yeah, because you yourself as a character when you're reading, you are judging this lawyer. Why is she doing this? I think that scene was absolutely necessary for the reader also to understand in their head. Okay,
yeah,
this is why somebody has to do it, and I don't think there would have been a better person to do it.
yeah.
So was that also the thought in your head while, thinking about why this scene needs to be there in the book?
It came from my curiosity of how these two characters would interact, and also from this was a question that was building up in the second draft. When I was writing it, rewriting it, I was like, Nia had this question of why is this woman doing it? Like, I mean, there was this anxiety in her because she felt guilty. At some level, she was feeling guilty. She was wanting to do it, but she was also guilt ridden about this decision and doing this and following it through. But this woman was not. She had no guilt about it.
Yeah.
And that question she needed an answer to for her journey to complete. And I think somewhere as a reader, I would have wanted to know what Lata was thinking. What is it that Lata wants from this life? So I think that is why I made sure that she's the way she's written in the book.
Yeah, you also had the same thought like a reader. I think that also proves that you need to be objective while reading your own draft. Thank you for answering that because thinking from a reader's perspective is so important. And I just said because I was reading about Lata and about Nia, and I was wondering, okay, we know why Nia is here. I, it would be interesting to know why Lata is doing this. So
Yeah.
thank you for including that scene. I think a lot of readers will enjoy that part.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings me to the end of the questions I had for you. You have also read my latest book, please. The floor is now yours.
Yes. So I just have to say that I read this book of yours. Let me open it. Oh, it's open on the end. You have it. Okay. So I read this book uh, during transits, right? I was going to drop off my kid. I was going to wait outside his class. And it was such a joy because after a hard day, when you've had anyone who's having kids and working, they know what I'm talking about. When you're juggling so many different things, this was like a breath of fresh air because I could so many things I could relate to during and they're easy, right? They're humorous, they're gentle, they're fun, there were yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear you enjoyed reading the book.
Are you there?
Hello? I think we lost you for a bit. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Beach me, I also couldn't see you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed. There were so many places I felt called out, personally called out. You're talking about food and you're talking about putting on weight and the jeans not fitting or fitting after a holiday. And also the little things, right? Like the popcorn kernels and the bubble wrap, which I loved. Um, so I really enjoyed reading it. Also, I felt that even though it's dealt with humor, the whole thing, there was this underlining rebellion, somewhere because even though you talk about food and you talk about body image insecurities that we go through, you capture experiences that women relate to very easily, but it's very uncomfortable also, right? Like when I was reading it, I got called out. So they are not something I will be comfortable talking about with everybody. And you do it with such ease that it was fantastic to read. The humor just makes it easy,
Thank you so
but it really does talk about certain things that we have in life. So it was nice.
much. Any particular nuggets that are your favorites and you would like to read out?
So there are a few. I'm gonna. I don't think we'll have. Okay, let's go with N. I
Okay.
think because we have. I mean, I loved B, which is bugging a loved one, and bursting bubble wraps and all. There's so many of them, but let's go with N. Let me open it as well. Yeah, so there's one which is no unpopped kernels. I just spoke about it actually.
Yes.
Left out from the popcorn packet. Uh, yeah, that one. And the thing is, right, like you say, seems like most of them popped, or I could microwave them again, or accept them as those who simply refuse to reach their full potential. Okay, let's not get personal here. And when I read that, I was like, I felt called out, which is why I've chosen to read this because I was like, oh God, like, have I reached my full potential? And it was just said with such jest and such quirky writing. But yeah, I felt seen and heard and called out and a bit like, okay, I need to take note of this. So that was really fun. And one of my other one, yeah. The next one is not putting on weight after a vacation or holiday. Again, I think most women will relate to this, which is why I brought it up. Because why do I feel the need to wear a belt? Wait, did I lose weight? I highly doubt that after gobbling those carbs the past few days. Yes, we've all gone through it. It's like, yeah, And then the other part, like, or maybe I just got rid of my emotional baggage. That's where I was like, oh God. Again, like personally attacked and personally called
Yeah.
out with the emotional baggage. But yeah, it was really fun. And then one second, I'm gonna not having to set up an alarm.
Hmm.
I think that is a dream for me right now. I wake up every morning at 6 with kids. And weekday with no alarm. I feel like I just cheated the system and won. Tomorrow's to-do list: stretch, smile, nothing. I want that. Like that's genuinely my birthday wish, if whenever it is. But yeah, like that's my wish. So
Keep your fingers crossed that you get it at least on your birthday.
that's why I said birthday. Maybe that's something I can ask for. So I thoroughly enjoyed. You can see that I thoroughly enjoyed reading this book.
Thank you.
There's a lot more, but from end, these three really like stayed with
Thank
me.
you so much. On that note, quickly showing the book cover again to everyone. This is the book that Nia has read of mine. It's my latest release. Go check it out. It's a fun book where I have divided life and its joyous moments into tiny little nuggets, and they are in alphabetical order, along with an illustration to explain those moments. Yes, Nia. Sorry.
So
I am calling you Nia. I'm so sorry. Prerna.
that's okay.
That's
That's okay.
okay.
Usually in my books, I'm happy for it. So yeah. So questions. I would say that it's very brave for you to write about insecurities with humor, right? So the humor obviously is very inviting for people. It kind of just ropes you in to be able to read. But was there a particular moment in the book that almost didn't make it uh, because it felt too exposing?
Okay, so there are layers to this answer also. Firstly, it's taken me a lot of time to, be so candid about the way I am. Accept it wholeheartedly myself also and not
Yeah.
care about the world also, not accepting it or accepting it or not. So it's taken me book 1 to book 11 has been a journey, and then that's how it has happened. Book 1 happened in 2018, and book 11, this one, has happened in 2025. So it's been a journey of self evolution for myself also, as a person, as a writer. And I think the filters were slowly going away with each book that came out. And by book 11, I was like, okay, I don't care. So that's how I was okay with it. Secondly, while the making of this book happened, it's taken a few years. The concept was, inceptualized in my mind in 2020, 2021, and the book came out in 2025. So that has also been an evolution where, I realized that, some things might work, some things might not work. So let's remove those. I think that understanding came because of two reasons. One, my experiences as a person, and second, my experiences as a writer. So that helped a lot. And during that evolution, I also realized that, I have to draw a line between the filters that I have to definitely put on, because this is going into a territory where not everyone might be comfortable reading it. So at that point, I was like, okay, but I can be self-deprecating. I can use the humor on myself. That's not going to be offensive to anyone. I'm talking about myself. Why are you getting offended? Your problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I tried to keep the humor as self-deprecating, as directed towards myself as possible. And, probably that was the line. That was the only filter I kept on. Of course, another filter was that I tried to be funny without being rude. So that,
It's a
you are
fine
not,
line.
yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
are, making fun of somebody or any situation without, trying to be rude or trying to offend anyone or everyone. And that's about the only thing. I kept it directed towards myself and tried not to cross the line between being humorous and rude.
That's amazing. That's sweet. Um, so you write about oversized clothes, weight gain, after vacations, right? And cheat days. Um, so there were so many moments that I laughed and I was personally attacked, like I just said. So these are very sensitive things for women to have, right? So Did you feel vulnerable while writing them? Or was there a part of you that actually enjoyed saying these things out loud?
I think I enjoyed it a lot. I was like, okay, if we
Yeah,
are removing the filters, just let's go all out. I don't care. Let's give the world the unfiltered version of Manali. And I actually was only thinking about myself when I was writing this. It's very surprising and, actually pleasantly surprising and validating for me that a lot of women, even men, are relating to these non-filtered versions of myself, and they are like, okay, yeah, we are also like that. We are just not uh,
exactly.
yeah, we are just not brave enough yet, or we have that inhibition or insecurity somewhere still in us, that where we are not accepting it ourselves
Hmm.
also, when we are afraid of showing it to the world also. So I was very, very pleasantly surprised and validated by that. So I think, yeah, I think it, as I mentioned before, it's been a journey of me being a writer, and my life journey also kind of shaped the
Hmm.
book into what it ultimately turned out to be.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think I was. There was so many moments in the book. There was any one particular thing. I'm sorry, I'm carrying forward to one more. Very lead on particular thing, like how you're wearing your jeans, or uh, when you're taking walks or something that felt too exposing, because you also talk about your husband a little bit. Even in the dedications, he's there. So, is there anything that you felt was a little revealing too much about yourself, or anyone that comes to mind that you feel that it was a little harder, or you were just like, no, I'm going to just do it? You reached that point in life.
With the dedication, I have to definitely say that my husband has been very, very cool about it, and I'm very grateful for that. That I'm making fun of him in my books, and he's okay with it. He's like, okay, तू कर, तुझे तुझे इसमें खुशी मिल रही है, तू कर ले.
Amazing. Yeah.
I did it with my very first book, and he looked at it and he was so nonchalant about it. I was like, okay, this can be carried forward as a legacy, because now those dedication pages have a fan following of their own. I must tell you that. There
I
is a
read them
group.
two, three times, the same one. I was like pretty excited by reading the dedication. I was really,
Yeah, so I have to admit that there is a certain section of readers who are more excited about the dedication page rather than the content of the book that I'm putting out. They're like, okay, what is this new thing that she has done to roast her husband this time? I'm enjoying
that's
that.
amazing.
So I think that kind of support also matters a lot for you to not only become brave in that particular section of your writing, but in other parts of your writing also. So I think that helped a lot. And also, I have been a different sized person in different stages of my life, and it has taken me a lot of, growth to accept my body as it is in that moment. I have been a small size person, then I've become a large size person, then I've become a small size person, and then again a large size person. It's been like,
I
no fix.
think all of us relate to that, which is why I'm saying your book was so relatable, because I've also been through that. I've been, as a teenager, I was big, then as a 20-year-old, I was skinny, I was fit, and then in my 30s, again, I was a bit big, then small, then big. So there is like three different
Yeah,
sizes at home that we have, right? Like
exactly.
you keep.
Yeah, I call that section aspirational clothing, the one that doesn't fit me at that moment. I will fit
Exactly.
into you one day again.
Absolutely.
So I think that kind of understanding only comes with personal experiences, and because I have gone through these stages as a woman, as a person, I think that has been a journey in itself, and made it possible for me to write about those experiences in the form of this book. And I think once you accept yourself, it becomes easier to
Yeah,
get filters off. You just
absolutely.
stop caring about what the opposite person, whoever it is going to think about you. You love yourself, and I am all about self love and self discovery. So the
Absolutely.
journey of this book has been like a self love, self discovery journal for me first. Then I think what I have done through the book for myself is also reflecting in the reader, experiencing it in the manner that I did.
It feels like I'm reading a journal, by the
Yeah.
way. I don't think I said that, but that's why it's so relatable. Because when you're reading it, you feel that it's like you're reading someone's journal, someone's diary, right? It's almost like someone's written these things. So it's that was yeah, thoroughly enjoyable book. and
Thank
very relatable.
Thank you so much. I'm glad that it's coming off that way. And I think what you asked, where I drew the line, was also about uh, making it about myself, and if I'm including somebody else, not naming them, and also knowing that the person that I'm including wouldn't mind. Then
Yeah.
that knowledge makes a lot of difference.
Yes. It's like a secret weapon authors have.
Yes.
So you must not use it just randomly.
Yes. So yeah, that's the journey of Fitmelt, and I think we are done with the questions we had for each other related to the books and about the reading of books, our thoughts about the book. Can we move on to the next section, the more fun section?
Sure, sure.
So this is my favorite part where we will do the rapid fire round. How
Wow.
we'll do this, Prerna, is I'll ask one question and you ask one question. So it remains
Okay.
that. Okay?
Back and forth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll have to keep searching for your questions, but okay, I'll do
Okay.
that.
So I had a lot of fun framing these questions because I wanted to put the characters and you into one big soup and see
Yeah, I
what.
had a tough time answering a lot of them. I would love to, when you say that, it would be just
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah. Okay. So my first question to you is: at a dinner party, what would the following characters say or do that makes everyone uncomfortable? And who do you think will jump in to justify them or salvage the situation? Okay. First character, Tejas.
Tejas would probably be quiet all along. Like he'll just be someone who's sitting there quietly on the dinner table, and that sort of silence would make everyone uncomfortable. He will not say anything to make you comfortable. I think that's how he make you uncomfortable.
He makes you uncomfortable in silence also. That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Shubh.
Shub will probably be over the top. He'll be the one, I mean, considering he's of age, he'll probably be the one pouring wine. And maybe the fact that he's pouring wine again and again and filling the glass to the girl next to him would probably be the thing that makes the girl uncomfortable. And he's probably going to give some of those compliments which are borderline weird, like,
Yeah.
tricky weird. So,
Okay, next one. Nia.
I mean, there's a scene in the book already where, and I think that's pretty true to her. She would probably say the same thing, which is, she'll start talking about psychopaths. She'll start talking about, oh, that is psychopathic behavior. Like she'll literally point out someone who's not at all, like, who's a gentle soul, who's probably very sweet and loving, and he'll do something, and she'll be like, that's how psychopaths think. That's how they behave. And she'll call it out. So, yeah,
Yeah,
very,
totally her. Yes. Okay, next one. Deepu.
yeah. Deepu can't say anything uncomfortable. Like for me, she's this sweet girl who's she'll probably come to defend Shub.
Hmm.
She'll probably get up and she'll be like, okay, you come and sit here, stop this, and she'll probably do that. She'll not say anything uncomfortable or do anything. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, she is definitely a sweetheart. Next one.
Yeah.
Shay.
She, she probably having his phone out and recording everything from the food, the expressions, and that invasion of privacy will be happening. So he'll be like, "Arey, ek aur bite, aise khao," and that would, I think, make people uncomfortable because they'll be like, "Okay, I just want to enjoy my food now. Can you stop?"
True. Yes. Okay, next one. Rumi.
Rumi, I think, will be chilling. He's dealt with some serious news and he does not want to really get involved with any kind of dynamic on the dining table because he's done with his day. But if he hears someone gossiping
Hmm.
about a current event and exaggerating, he's probably going to call them off. He's going to fact check them.
Hmm.
Ye pada kya, and that will probably make them uncomfortable. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yes. And the last one. Aditi.
Aditi, again, she's very sweet. She's like a sweetheart character. So I think she will probably start babbling. There'll be silence and she'll get uncomfortable and she'll be like, the topic of the conversation maybe ye movie dekhi kya, and she'll be like, मैं अपनी मम्मी के साथ शॉपिंग गई थी and she'll start talking about something completely
Yeah.
unconnected to the conversation. So I think that's what she will do.
True. Yes. Yeah, I can totally imagine her doing that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm done with the first question. Your turn.
Okay, let me just find your questions. Okay. If you could eat only one dessert for the rest of your life, because you talk a lot about desserts, what would it be?
Wow, it's a tough one.
One dessert. It can be anything. So,
One dessert, then I would probably choose ice cream. And if I had to choose one flavor in that,
yeah,
it'd probably be, I know it's boring and very predictable, but I think it would be choco chip.
chocolate chip. Yeah.
Okay, my turn. You have to answer these two questions as Robin Hood, not revealing spoilers, but you have
Yeah.
to step
Okay.
into his shoes also. We don't want to give away his identity, right?
Okay.
The first question: what kind of person is impossible to manipulate, according to Robin Hood?
Uh, Probably somebody who wants nothing.
Hmm.
If somebody doesn't want anything, if there is, he's not wanting validation like he spoke about, if he's not wanting any kind of, he's not in competition because he wants to succeed. Like if he doesn't want anything, if he isn't insecure in any way,
Hmm.
then he can't be used.
Hmm. True. Okay, next one. At what point does a victim become dangerous too?
I think the victim stops expecting everything to be fair. When they accept that life is unfair,
Hmm.
shit happens, um, and when they embrace those facts that this is how life is,
Hmm.
I think they stop being a victim.
And that actually makes them dangerous, you feel?
Yeah, because suddenly when you're a victim, you could. It's not just about fairness, right? When you're a victim, there's a lot of other emotional baggage and emotional trauma that you have to deal with. But when you accept the fact that life is unfair and this has happened, um, and I'm going to use that, you change from the victim mindset to a dangerous mindset. I think that shift happened.
Nice. Okay, your turn.
Um, Let me just. Okay. If you could have a heart-to-heart conversation with any fictional villain, who would it be?
Interesting. I've never thought about that. One villain, I think it would be very cliche, but I think one villain that we all equally find fascinating is the Joker. So it would be great to have a conversation with him. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's an intellectual conversation. I already know it's going to be an intellectual conversation. So,
Yeah, yeah. And he's gonna call you out with
yeah,
everything that you pour out of your heart, like in a heart-to-heart conversation. How you
exactly.
have got, like you tell people the things that are on your mind. He's gonna actually call you out. So yeah,
It's kind of scary, but also stimulating and exciting, I think. So,
yeah, yeah. It'll be like almost like Nia and Robin Hood
yeah,
conversation where
exactly.
it's gonna be,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It can be quite fascinating.
yes. Okay, my next one. I had a lot of fun thinking about this because I also thought, somehow these characters are connected. I'm not giving away any spoilers, but yeah, this was a thought in my head when I was reading the story. So, if Deepu and Nia had been friends during school, how and in what manner would their lives have been different?
Ooh, this is genuinely very interesting. Because they're almost like they're almost like moral mirrors to each other, right? Like
Exactly, yes.
they're so yeah. That's a very interesting question. How will they be different? You said right in their current life.
Yeah.
Um, so Deepu knows what men are capable of.
Hmm.
right? And Nia has theorized most of that
Hmm.
till now.
Hmm.
So I think if they had met in school or in their childhood, um, Nia would have stopped theorizing and romanticizing
Hmm.
psychopaths, and
Get
she
to
would have
that.
probably taken action towards it. And we know what I'm talking about because of the
Yeah.
backstory. She would have probably taken some kind of action. And Deepu would have um, probably felt this ease and access to rage. She is allowed to be angry, but there's no one around her who's letting her be angry. She doesn't know what these emotions are.
Yeah.
She has not allowed herself to feel angry because there's everything around her that is happening. So I think if they had met at an early age, she would feel that she can be angry and she can rage at the world at large. So I think, yeah, I think that it's almost like a full novel on its own. What you just asked me.
Exactly.
So
Please, this is the point that I'm going to say. This is the sign that you needed for exploring this relationship further. Please do it.
yeah, yeah, it's
I can see that they would be kind of BFFs but in a parallel universe, they are probably best friends.
correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, your turn.
My turn. Okay, what kind of book do you prefer? Edge of your seat, genre bending thriller, or a cozy, vulnerable drama?
I think
What are you
one.
thinking?
I think I try to because I enjoy both genres equally. I'm a romance fan also, and I'm a thriller fan also. So I what I have learned to do in my evolution as a reader is that I try and balance it out. If I am reading a thriller, after that immediately I will go to a lighter book, which is a romance or a drama, rom-com or a romantic drama. And if I have read a light romantic book and it has put me in a cheerful, happy mindset, I will go back to a thriller. So, it's always a balance.
Yeah,
I cannot read thrillers back to back or even too much of romance back to back because I know,
you
it
need to
has
cleanse your
yeah,
palate, right? You need to
exactly.
be like
It becomes
change
too
up.
sweet. Like, इतना भी अच्छा नहीं है life जितना ये लोग दिखा रहे हैं.
Yeah. It's too
Yeah,
unrealistic when you
yeah,
read too much of that.
yeah, exactly. You
Yeah,
kind of become like a snob. यार ऐसे थोड़ी होता है. Then you stop
yeah,
hating the genre, I feel.
yeah.
Okay. My next question. All the male characters in the book are forced to attend a peaceful self-care day. Tejas, Shobh, Sher, Rumi, Kabir, Ayan. Who do you think finds it healing and who is irritated and why?
Can you ask me one by one so I can just
Okay,
you
first,
know,
Tejas.
Tejas, okay, for a self-healing day, he would curious about how it functions because he has that mind, so he'll probably say, he'll probably equate healing to godmen, and he'll try and see what. So his brain will function like that. He won't get irritated, but he won't also get influenced. Like he'll just go there with an analytical mind of
Like a sense of curiosity, just.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, next one. Shubh.
Shub would probably be irritated. He's very impatient. He's very entitled, so he'll be irritated.
Yeah. Next one is Sher.
I think if the phones are not allowed,
Hmm.
right, and it's a healing center, so let's assume they'll say no social, no phones, or be disconnected with the world, whatever. Then he's going to be extremely irritated because he needs to document everything
Yeah.
and sell it. Like he needs to make money out of every piece of his life. So yeah, he's going to be irritated.
Okay. Next one. Rumi.
Ruby probably needs it the most, right? I mean, he's got the weight of the world on anything.
Yeah.
With everything is serious. So yeah, he's going to enjoy.
Yeah.
Eventually, he'll be irritated, but he will kind of be forced to give in. But the moment he gives in, he's probably going to enjoy it.
Yeah, and he's going to realize in like 10 seconds that yes, I needed this. Just didn't know I needed this. Yeah,
I mean, it'll take him time to switch off his brain, you know.
yeah,
So, but once he does, he'll be fine.
yeah.
He'll enjoy
Okay,
it.
next one, Kabir. Yeah.
Kabir is, he's the hardest character because he's not on page as such, but he's a user.
Hmm.
So unless he can use this particular facility for something, he's not going to enjoy it. So again, I think very similar to Tejas in that way. If there is an opportunity, he'll look for it, and otherwise, it's going to be irritated.
And the last one, Ayan. Probably the only beacon of hope in the entire character area.
I think he's like the modern man for me. You know, he's someone who knows that I'm not perfect, but I'm ready to work for it.
Yeah.
So he's like the example of a modern man for me. And yeah, he'll give in. He'll be like, okay, I don't like it, but I'm ready for this experience. Like, let's experience it. He'll give it one shot. If it doesn't work for him, he'll probably never go again, but he'll not be close to it.
Okay. Yeah, your turn.
Sorry, I've got to. Okay, now this is very interesting because there's so many joyous things in your book that you do. Like looking at a rainbow or taking nature walks, etc. So the question is, what's the weirdest little thing that gives you disproportionate joy? Like the weirdest thing that not something very casual.
This is also one of the nuggets that I actually ended up discarding from the final draft. It almost made it, but then I was like, okay, no. I don't know if you do this, but I do know that a lot of people do it and don't admit it, which is licking off a chocolate off its wrapper.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I
So I
mean, when my son does it, I stop him. Like, what are you doing? But of course, we'll all secretly do it.
So yeah, it's a little inappropriate, but I'm like, yeah, but everyone enjoys it, doesn't admit it, kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that
That's
one.
amazing. I think, yeah, I completely get that. Completely get that
Yeah.
joy.
Oh, and the last question I had for you. All the female characters in the book are asked to illustrate their most satisfying day or moment similar to the Fit Melt illustrations and nuggets. Who would draw or illustrate what moment and why?
This is a very tricky one because the book is so serious that
Yeah,
it's going to be very hard to sort
exactly.
of. Uh, so Nia would probably have a statement during the quote, like she'd be yawning
Hmm.
and she'd be like probably doing like yes kind of a gesture because she's made a decision, right? So it's going to be like it's done. So I think something on those lines
Hmm. Yeah,
where it's going to be in
yeah,
the quote
yes,
towards the end, like the scene towards the end. She's going to probably figure something on those lines.
yes. Then we have Aditi.
Aditi is probably going to be either eating ice cream in the summer,
Hmm.
or sorry, not summer, winter. It
Hmm.
should be winter for
Yeah,
her, because it's just another thrill of having ice cream in the winter.
yeah.
And or it's going to be the first day she met Rumi because
Hmm.
it's going to be hilarious, right? Like she is completely a babbling person, nervous, and he's somebody who's authoritative. So I think the first day they met, either it's going to be that or it's going to be while eating ice cream, like ice cream.
Then we have Nia's friend Sue.
Sue, Sue is going to probably have a perfect image of her kids and sitting, and behind them they'd probably be like chained on the side because they'll be like, sit for the picture. So like you've got to sit with the dual life of a blogger.
Yes, and of course, then we have the last remaining female character, Lata.
Lata is very hard. I don't
Yeah.
know her fun side at all. Like I don't know what she would um, actually end up doing for this kind of fun. I think it would be probably taking a walk and alone in the evening sometime. I think something like that. So yeah, because I think she will crave the peace
Yeah.
after a
Yes.
bad day.
Yes. And that's kind of her me time. Yeah, probably. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. I did not expect you to answer that so well. I had thrown this question in as a Google and I was like, let's see what she does with that. Very well done.
It was very hard. It was very hard. I didn't expect it to have like so many. Yeah,
Yeah, because your book
all
is
the
very
characters,
detailed.
right?
Yeah.
You have to really think about each character. Wow, you made me think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now we come to the last segment of the episode where we play a little game. It's called the Fitmelt Bingo. And I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions related to the nuggets that you have read from the book. You just have to answer in yes or no. Okay.
Okay.
First one. Witnessed a perfect sunset in the last 7 days.
Yes.
Lovely. Next one. Own a pair of jeans that fits just right.
Yes. At the
Oh.
moment.
At the moment. That's very important. Yes, I understand. Okay. Next one. Ate ice cream before it melted.
I like eating melted ice cream. I like it a little melty, so I would say no.
I know. Yeah, I think somewhere secretly everyone does. They just don't admit it. It's like that
Yeah.
licking the chocolate kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Nailed a witty comeback at the right time.
No.
No.
I've never had a witty comeback, I think, ever. I mean, unless it's with my husband, which doesn't count, because he's home. But yeah, I don't think I ever have a witty comeback. I get again in your book, right? I got called out in that. You tend to think, yeah,
Yeah,
as a writer, I think it comes to you after 3 days.
exactly. Yeah, totally understand. Next one. Went on a peaceful walk alone.
Yes.
We have Zuku here who is saying she gets it like a thought bubble though.
Yeah, it's there. She's very correct.
Yeah, I think that's why you related to Fitmelt also so much because there are thought bubbles everywhere and there you are wondering while reading also, is that spoken out loud or is that person thinking in their mind?
Exactly.
Okay, next one. Got lost in a great book.
Always.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
A
Absolutely.
little, a little confession time over here with this particular question in the bingo is that this is a trick question. It is put in here for the person who's doing the bingo to get
Your
them to
voice
admit that
is,
it's cracking. Is it okay now?
yeah, in the middle, it just sort of vanished.
Okay, is it okay now? Yeah.
Yeah, it's better
Okay.
now.
So this is kind of a trick question that I have included in the bingo because I want the person who's taking the bingo to be forced into admitting that yes, Manali, we
Okay.
got lost in your book. So it's kind of a trick question. Okay. Next one. Uh, Next one. Took a shower without adjusting the knobs in the past week.
No. I adjusted the knobs. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Next one. Took up a new hobby or did something creative.
I do something creative all the time. It could be reading, it could be writing, it could be drawing. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Next one. Heard a song you forgot you loved.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't recently.
Okay. Next one. Found an old note or photo.
Yeah, I mean, I found an old book that my father had given me, which was signed by him while I was cleaning my bookshelf. So yeah, I found that. It was really cute. He'd written a little message on it, so it was
How precious. Nice.
nice.
Okay. Next one. Spotted a rainbow in the past year.
Yeah, past year, sure. Yes, yes,
Yeah, I've deliberately kept the timeline on this a little longer because I know how difficult it is to spot a rainbow in India. So yeah,
yeah.
that is deliberate. Okay, next one. Had a random idea that sparked joy.
I had lots of random ideas, and they all spark joys. I'm a writer. I constantly think of ideas.
I
So
know.
yes.
Yes. Okay, next one. Took yourself on a date or day out.
Not recently.
Hmm.
I used to do that, but not recently.
Okay. Next one. Smelled something baking.
Yes. just
Awesome.
yesterday. So
Oh,
yes.
wow. Nice. Okay, next one. Had a good hair day in the past 2 weeks.
Sorry,
Had a good hair day in the past 2 weeks.
my hair misbehaves pretty much every day. So no, no.
Okay. Next one. Popped a bubble wrap.
Um, yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Nice.
Yeah.
Next one. Ate your comfort food.
My comfort food is parathi. I haven't eaten for at least 3 months.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, it's
So
been a
yeah,
while. Yeah. Okay.
it's been a while. Yeah.
Next one. Gazed at the moon in silence.
Sorry.
Gazed at the moon in silence.
No.
No. No. Okay. Next one. Bought something that made you giddy.
I've not watched much TV in the past, recent past. So no.
No, I said bought something. You purchased something that
As
made
a
you giddy.
bought something.
Hmm.
Um, I bought a new Kindle recently, so
Yeah.
that made me giddy. I was very
Yeah.
excited by
Of
it.
course. It should. For a bookworm, that is very, very precious.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And the last one. Reconnected with an old friend.
Um, I am actually pretty well connected to a lot of my old friends from my school time. So yeah, I mean, I don't have to reconnect with them.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've done quite well. According to me, because I have designed it and I've written the book, according to me, this is the ideal way to lead life. And you are doing very well, Prerna. Congratulations. You've done well.
Thank you.
And that
Thank
brings us to
you.
the end of the episode. Before I let you go, I ask this question to most of my guests, especially those guests whose book I had a lot of fun reading and with whom I had a lot of fun interacting with. So I'm going to ask you before I let you go. When are you coming up with the next book so I can have you again?
Soon, hopefully soon. I'm already starting to work on the idea, like a little bit of an outlining. But I'm also taking a little bit of break.
Yeah.
So yeah, but very soon.
Okay.
Probably, yeah.
Probably this year,
But
maybe.
I mean, we're already 5 months into it, so I'm not sure this year, but definitely early next year, if not this year.
Oh, awesome.
I mean,
Looking
that's the
forward.
target. I don't know if I'll reach it. Let's see.
Yeah, you will. I have given you the motivation and the sign you needed for speeding it up. So please write it as quickly as possible so we can do this again. And
Lovely.
the readers like me who enjoyed reading Psychopath also get to read something new from you. So very excited for that. All the best and looking forward to your next book and to having you again on the show. Bye. Have
Thank
a
you so
great
much.
weekend.
You too. Bye bye.